Syracuse guard De'Asia Fair has attempted 2,952 shots in her 5-year career.
Fair loses her defender and scores!
That's a pretty overwhelming number. So let me break it down for you. That's 38% from 2, 35% from 3, and 79% from the line. One of De'Asia's favorite spots over her 2 years at SU was right here on this wing, where in certain spots around me, she hit almost 60% of her shots. That's just incredible. Trailer. Well, despite being only 5'5", De'Asia Fair did a lot of her damage in the paint, shooting just under 70% from inside this painted area last season. The only place she's really struggled this season has been from the corner, specifically the left, shooting under 17% from this area. But when you're such a good shooter other places, does it really matter? De'Asia Fair has done a lot over her 5-year career, but the one thing that really eludes her to this point is a March Madness win. She made it back in 2022 with University of Buffalo, but couldn't get the job done. Now she has one final chance before she rides off in the sunset on a historic career. A top 5 scorer and a lasting impact on the game ends this March. Hudson Ridley, Citrus TV. Syracuse women's soccer opened up the season with a fairly similar start. A 1-0 loss to Delaware and a 3-0 win over Siena sent the Cuse home to SU Soccer Stadium with a 1-1 record. The Orange's first game back here on the Hill ended in heartbreak with a narrow 2-1 loss to Auburn. But just 3 days later, SU bounced back on senior night, taking their own 2-1 win over Binghamton, due in large part to Syracuse's brick wall between the posts. Hey Ben, toss me that ball. SU goalkeeper Shea Vanderbosch did a lot of this in 2023, etching her name into the record books. The sophomore racked up a total of 129 saves. That's just 9 short of a program record set all the way back in 2000. Even crazier is, she did it in 3 last games. Vanderbosch's highlight of 2023 came against third-ranked Florida State. Her 16 saves were second most for a Cuse keeper in a single contest. But as you'll soon see, it wasn't enough. That right there happened to Syracuse all season long. 10 of SU's 24 players dealt with significant injuries throughout the season. That included Zoe Vandeklout and Kate Murphy, key pieces of SU's backline. As a result, the Cuse really couldn't find its stride, going on a winless streak that saw SU trail in nearly every statistical category. We start in the 80s, where helmets looked like that, and Syracuse men's lacrosse wasn't the premier power it once turned into. That was until 1983, when the Orange made their first national championship in program history. Who did they meet? Well, Johns Hopkins, of course. SU took home its first national championship with a narrow 17-16 win. Before that point, the Orange had dropped 9 straight matchups with the Blue Jays. That's dating all the way back to 1930. The next year, Syracuse made it back to the mountaintop with its second national championship appearance. However, this time, Hopkins not only took down the Orange, but followed it up the next season with another national championship over SU in 1985. After a 3-year hiatus, both sides would meet again in 1989 for the 4th and final national championship matchup of the decade. The Orange were led by a familiar name, Gary Gates. It took another 1-goal win, knotting the championship series at 2 apiece and laying the groundwork for a rivalry that would burn long after the 80s.
Cone and Accardo meet. Neither scoops it up cleanly right away. Both wings come in, and it's the far side wing for the Orange who picks it up. Jake Stevens takes 2 shots, keeps getting whipped at by Mudlaff. Behind the back pass, Spolina! Are you kidding me? Joey Spolina! That was filthy. On the feed behind the back from Jake Stevens, he finds the bottom right corner, and a highlight reel goal for the sophomore's 6th of the day. That's a career high. The Orange lead it 14-8, 4:15 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Hudson, I think the pass from Jake Stevens might have been more impressive than the goal. He muscles by 3 defenders, gets checked every which way, and then somehow has the wherewithal to behind the back pass to Joey Spolina. Wow, that was something.
I mean, the highlights we have seen here today. My goodness, yet another one on a filthy behind-the-back pass from Jake Stevens. And not just that, he was hounded all the way down the field, got into the zone, took 3 whacks to his stick from the short stick. Henry Mudlath battled through it all, and off balance in the slot through a nice pass. Johnny Mullen wins it left to right, head of steam, in the slot, a shot and a goal! The freshman on the board! Johnny Mullen, the Fogo, says, hey, Mason Cone, I can do what you do. His first career goal for the Orange. Syracuse extending the lead, 15-8, just 5 seconds after the last one. 4:10 on the clock remaining in this third quarter of play.
Colin Hoban had been putting up a great fight at the X. This time, John Mullen wins it cleanly, and no one slides to him whatsoever. He gets a clear path at the goal and puts a great shot on net for a Fogo.
I mean, my goodness, that was as clean of a win as you can have. He baited Accardo nearly by pulling it back with lightning quickness, made him fall flat on his face, and no one checked him all the way down the field. You could say he's learning a thing or two from Mason Cone, who's the man out there for the face-off after Mullen gets a break. And Accardo, worried about his last face-off, commits a violation, not trying to have the same thing happen against a Fogo who already has 4 goals on the season. It's Orange ball. They work it left to right. Not only was that Mullen's first career goal, but his first career point for the freshman. Like we said earlier, Gary Gate said that this kid is the future, and it's on full display here today. Burt Whistle cuts his way in to Stevens. Back to Muley at X. Wraps his way around the cage near side. Pass in front, behind the back. The Orange are creating a highlight reel. Jackson Burt Whistle. Play after play after play from the Syracuse team. And oh boy, this run continues. Syracuse leads it 16-8. 3:44 to go in the third quarter.
This game was a 2-point game at one point. High Point was in it beyond belief, and suddenly Syracuse has just flipped a switch and having its way with High Point. This looks like a completely different team and a completely different ball game.
The ball movement, excellent. Behind the back passing, excellent. And this team is feeling it with a 16-8 lead, just under 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. John Torpy wants to talk it over with his High Point Panthers team, so we'll step aside here from the Dome. Syracuse, a 16-8 lead. You're listening to Syracuse Men's Lacrosse on the original home of the Orange, WAER.
Welcome back into UC Health Park. It's Vibes Baseball on Vibes TV. Rocky Mountain blanking Ogden so far. 6-0 the score after a 4-run bottom of the third. Nico Zeglin still on the mound for the Vibes, and hey, why not? 5 strikeouts so far as we enter the fourth. You'll face Alexiadis, Williams, and Teixeira, the heart of the order for the Raptors. First pitch to Teixeira, line to left, gets down for a base hit. The league's home run leader wasting no time. It's a leadoff single for Reese Alexiadis. That'll bring up another righty, Logan Williams. Williams somewhat saved a run with a nice play in the bottom of the third, blocking Rios for a time from advancing, but then Rios was driven in all the same. Zeglin takes his time. Swing and a foul ball. A lot of these defensive rotations have to be a little discombobulating for Raptors players and fans alike. Williams last night getting the start at third base, now back behind the dish, with Landon Barnes playing the hot corner. The 0-1, a swing and a miss, and he's down 0-2. McMurray holding on Alexiadis at first. Checks over on him. To no avail. Slides back in time. Now the 0-2 to Williams. Swing and a pop-up. Foul and into the seats.
He'll stay alive at 0-2. A sizable amount of fans on hand as the lights come on at UC Health Park. Here for Army versus Air Force night. Zeglin. Swing and a miss. Strikeout number 6 for the rookie. The Nico Zeglin train continues to roll, and that's 1 down in the frame. Now it brings up Teixeira. He's already been a victim of a strikeout once. In his only plate appearance, he's 0 for 1. First pitch swinging, and it's fouled off into the sweets. So far, Zeglin yet to walk a man. This could be 2, but it gets past Rios. A tough play to make at his ankles. Wilmer, the throw to third, tagging up. The tag! They say he's safe! Reese Alexianis slid into third. Dusty Stroop applied the tag. And a careen of boos raining down at UC Health Park.